In a bay once haunted by smugglers and pirates, divers are hunting for the remains of a long-lost ship. Laden with a cargo worth millions of dollars, she sank in these waters more than 3 centuries ago. For years, people have searched for the wreck of the president, and now, finally, their luck has changed. A wild windswept corner in the far southeast of England, the county of Cornwall is steeped in seafaring myths and legends stretching back hundreds of years. And back in the 17th century, when piracy was at its peak, the area's rugged coastline and hidden coves witnessed many a terrifying wreck and raid. But even though piracy is no longer a threat along the Cornish coast, the waters are far from safe. In fact, it's thought that as many as 6,000 ships have been wrecked off the county's treacherous shores. And although some of these date from modern times, others reveal a fascinating insight into a long-forgotten past. One man with a passion for Cornwall's wrecks is David Gibbins, an archaeologist who specializes in underwater finds. The child of two academic scientists, Gibbins grew up exploring the world's oceans. Indeed, he learned to dive the shipwrecks of Canada when he was just 15 years old. As an adult, Gibbins has skippered underwater expeditions around the world, as well as authoring a series of novels based around the fictional exploits of maritime archaeologist Jack Howard. And in 2015, he founded Cornwall Maritime Archaeology alongside Mark Milburn, an experienced scuba diver. With a team of volunteer divers, Gibbins and Milburn set out to explore the historic site off Cornwall's coast. And soon they were uncovering significant finds such as a 17th century shipwreck at Rill Cove near Hulton. They also came across the remains of the Schiedam, a Dutch merchant vessel that sank in Gunwallow Church Cove around the same time. However, there was another shipwreck that Gibbins, Milburn, and the team had on their radar. They wanted to explore a site believed to be the last resting place of the president, an East India Company merchant ship that sank in February 1684. Apparently, she had left India laden with treasures, including pearls and diamonds thought to be worth around $10 million today. It seems the president's voyage had barely begun when tragedy struck. While sailing off India's Malabar coast, she was attacked by half-dozen pirate ships and a violent battle ensued. Eventually, the East India Company vessel emerged victorious after her crew scored a direct hit on one of the attacking fleet's powder kegs. Apparently, the pirate ship exploded and the president was able to continue on her journey. However, the weather was against them and supplies quickly dwindled. By the time they reached Cornwall, the crew were so weakened by hunger and thirst, they were barely able to control the vessel. As the president approached Mounts Bay, she was caught up in a raging storm and smashed into the rocks of Low Bar. And according to a bulletin published some weeks after the incident, the ship was beat in 1,000 pieces. In fact, the tragedy was so terrible that only 2 men managed to avoid death. For 300 years, the president languished at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, its treasures likely lost forever beneath the waves. Then, at the end of the 1980s, divers exploring the Cornish coast discovered a collection of cannons on the seabed. Was the elusive wreck ready to give up her secrets at last? Keen to preserve the site, the heritage organization Historic England granted Gibbins and Milburn a license to watch the wreck. However, for much of the time there was little to see. Not only were any potential relics covered by sand, they were also located in a challenging spot. Low Bar is usually a dangerous place to dive. The entry and exit are treacherous even with the smallest of waves, Gibbins told Cornwall Live in June 2018. There was some good news though. The recent period of calm weather has allowed us to get in for the first time in months, he continued. And when the team finally made it to the site of the president, there was a surprise lying in wait. Apparently, the sands of Low Bar had shifted, revealing a number of cannons and an anchor on the seafloor. What's more, because they were diving in an area with no known recorded artifacts, Gibbins and Milburn knew they were looking at a new discovery. With every storm, the sand can shift to reveal new treasures, Gibbins explained. It was incredibly exciting to see something that nobody has ever seen before. In fact, the team discovered no less than 7 cannons, located around 20 feet beneath the surface of the waves. According to Gibbins, our knowledge of the president's fateful journey only adds to the excitement of the find. It's very unusual to know that guns on a merchantman were actually used, he explained, especially in such a colorful action and on the very voyage at which the ship was wrecked. Meanwhile, Milburn believes this new discovery represents the place where the president first hit the rocks some 330 years ago. Apparently, the vessel may have drifted to the spot where the first artifacts were found back in the 1980s. We've probably got the start of the trail. What they found before was the middle of the trail, he told Fox News in June of 2018. However, Milburn was quick to point out that there could well be more relics waiting to be discovered. What we have to find is the end of the trail, he added, and even though the team is yet to uncover any diamonds or pearls, they have every reason to believe that the president's booty is still lurking off the Cornish coast. But for any would-be treasure hunters, a difficult challenge lies ahead. It really is a needle in a haystack. It's a shingle bar. It's a fluid environment, Milburn explained. Diamonds in water are transparent. Pearls would look like shingle. We have billions of tons of shingle that are moving at the time. Despite the difficulty of locating any individual gems, the team remains hopeful that the ship's cannons could reveal some exciting discoveries. Apparently, corroding iron can kickstart a process known as concretion, where sand combines with any nearby objects to form a dense layer, essentially bonding any loose artifacts with the weapons themselves. So could some of the president's precious cargo have been preserved in this way? For now, we must wait to see what the future dives uncover.